Are you tired of cycling through the endless amount of trending skincare products that all claim to smooth wrinkles, firm skin, and give you a youthful glow, but don't really deliver results at the end of the bottle? Well, support for today's episode comes from OneSkin, founded by a team of 4 female PhD-level longevity scientists with over 15 years of experience studying the biology of aging. OneSkin is for everyone that wants to prevent or reverse the signs of aging with a groundbreaking approach. OneSkin addresses skin health at the molecular level, targeting the root causes of aging so skin behaves, feels, and appears younger. It's time for you to experience a new skin health routine at a discounted rate today. Get 15% off with the code RATCHET at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code RATCHET. We only have one body, one skin, and only you can choose to make it better. Age healthy with OneSkin. Fall is always such a hectic time of year for me. It's usually when I make a big move. I'm thankful to Caraway Cookware's non-stick kitchenware, which means with my busy schedule, cooking is still a breeze and cleanup is easier than ever. Caraway products are non-toxic and come with a chemical-free ceramic coating, which means food can be prepared with peace of mind that no hard-to-pronounce chemicals will leach into your healthy ingredients. Visit carawayhome.com/respectable to take advantage of this limited time offer for 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners, so visit carawayhome.com/respectable or use code RESPECTABLE at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable, still in Paris. This is actually our last episode in Paris. I returned to America in 2 days. I'm kind of weird about it. Like, I want to go home. I haven't been home since February, and there's a bunch of stuff that I need to take care of. But also, I really, really love Paris, and I really don't want to go home. I love it here. I feel the same way as when I was riding to the airport in Ghana, and I was like, why am I leaving again? Like, I wanted to explore other places. I wanted to see other things. Like, I was really excited about doing South Africa and then seeing whatever came from there. I wasn't sure what. I was like, maybe I'll do 3 months in South Africa. And then this whole, see some world thing won't be a life anymore. It'll be more like vacations. And then, I left for South Africa and literally have not been home since. But I have so much stuff that I need to take care of. One of the things I'm looking forward to, I need new clothes. I've been wearing the same shit for 9 months. I have 3 suitcases. 2 of them are trunks. So I have ample amounts of clothes, but I have clothes for seasons, for fall and summer. So when it's cold out, like, there's a limited wardrobe. When it's warm out, there's a limited wardrobe. But I've been wearing the same clothes in rotation for months. Months. I just not need. There's a difference between need and want. I technically could wear all of these things. They are well-made clothes. They are of quality. They are clean and in good condition. And I'm not throwing them out. I just got to swap out some clothes or maybe get some new stuff. Like, I'm tired. First world problems. I know. And still. But yeah, and I just miss like certain foods. Like, I've already put together an eating plan. I want a crab cake and fried fish and macaroni and cheese real, real bad. Unless I want to gain back the inches that I lost while I've been gone, walking 10, 12, 15,000 steps a day all over Europe, I need to pace my eating and my working out because nothing I want is healthy. Absolutely nothing. I want to get my nails properly done. I was getting them done just fine up until the last round. The lady in Bali, she didn't do my nails so good. And they all started breaking off. So, like, I got to get my nails put back together. I told you that the lady that I originally wanted to cut my hair, so many of you sent recommendations for your stylist who does natural hair. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Most of them were in New York, which it's not far from DC, but I prefer not to go to New York to get my hair done, especially since DC has a ton of natural hair stylists. It's just I don't know who they are or who I can trust. But the woman that I originally reached out to, I told you I DM'd the stylist from my Instagram account with my blue check mark. And I was like, look, I'm put this thing to good use. And I was like, at least she'll read the email, I think. But she responded back. She was very sweet. This is the woman who I really, really, really wanted to cut my hair. She cuts the hair of this hair influencer that I followed for years, and she has a glorious mane. And I was like, this is what I want. But she wrote back like a really sweet note. And she was like, yeah, I'll open up the books for you. Just let me know when you want to come in. And I was like, I want the day after I arrive. That's when I want to come in. And she was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I was like, is it that easy? It can be. So I'm really excited about this haircut. Like, I want bangs because my hair is like all in my face. It hasn't been trimmed since before I left for Ghana. It's healthy enough. I mean, not that I've blown it straight to see what my ends look like, but I also never wear my hair straight. So is there a need to blow it straight to see what my ends look like? I would like to get a curly cut. We'll see. Whatever this lady feels like doing, she could do. I've identified this cut that I've actually wanted for years. This is progress because I was going to shave my head. The only reason I'm not shaving my head is because I want braids again when I get to Ghana. If I have a Caesar, it's not impossible because, Ghana braiders will snatch up your soul and figure out how to braid it. I figure since I'm not going to, damn near shave my head, I might as well keep my hair. Don't try to understand the logic. Just nod and say, okay. In news that will surprise no one, I went back to the Usher concert. It was so good. It was so good. I was like, I have to see Usher again. You know how I was on here moaning about how I couldn't get back to Vegas, or like I could, but I didn't want to spare the cost and the time to fly from Europe to Vegas to see Usher. And then I was like, oh, well, he's coming to Paris. And I figured since he's right here and I am obsessed with Usher, I might as well just go again. The same person I went with the first time, she actually introduced the idea because I thought about it and I was like, that's kind of doing the most. Like, you went to see the show. It was really great. Like, see him again, that's doing a lot. We were at dinner the other day. And so she was like, so I was thinking about going to the Usher. Oh, yes. Before she could fully get the words out. Yes, let's go. And she was like, okay, because I found these tickets in their XYZ and I could just push send right now. I've already pulled it up. And I was like, whatever. Yes. Then I was like, how much are they? It wasn't that bad. We got tickets for the VIP pit. Now, if you know me, you know that's not my usual MO. I think I've done like full segments on here about how I'm too grown. I said this about the Beyonce concert. I was like, you know what? I'm really happy for everyone who's doing Club Renaissance, who is standing for the whole concert, who is up in the pit with the crazed fans, and they are just living their best lives and doing the electric slide and going mute. I get it. I'm excited for them. And I've said that will never be me because I'm a person of a certain age and my ass needs to sit down. But I figured since I already been to Usher and I stood up the whole time. I mean, there were like 2 parts of the concert, literally when Usher goes to change clothes. Like, people sat down. That was all of 2 minutes. And then we were back on our feet the rest of the concert. I was like, as long as I don't wear heels, I should be fine. So me and my friend, we went and we got in the pit. Luckily, it wasn't super crowded. It was actually very moderately paced. It was good. The only thing is we couldn't drink. She left in mid-concert to go get champagne because it's the part where he does all the dance music. And, we know the track list because we were just there. She reappeared 40 minutes later. And I was like, you've been getting drinks all this time? And she was like, well, no. One, I went out. I got drinks. They wouldn't let me back in. And then I was like, oh, no, you're going to let me in. I have to be able to see, even if you won't let me back in the pit. And they were like, we can't let you in the pit when he's on stage. So she had to wait for a wardrobe change. She was like, I was over there chilling with security. I got great views. She showed me her video and I was like, girl, that's better than in the pit. It's freaking amazing. We were close enough where I could hear their steps as they danced. I could see the sweat dripping off Usher's body. I can see him breathing. It was great. If you really wanted to, and you didn't mind getting your ass beat and then probably kicked out the concert, you really could reach out and touch Usher. Yes, probably could climb on stage. I wouldn't suggest it again, but it probably could have been done. It was so good. I'm glad I saw it twice, and both in the different locations. This is the only person I've gone to see in concert, in the same week, back to back like that. Remember it's actually the second time I was in Paris for the year. I want to say in May, I went to the Renaissance concert. And then when I got back to London, Beyonce was there too. And some friends were in town. They were like, we got an extra Beyonce ticket. And I was like, I'm good. And she was like, oh, you don't have to pay for it. She was like, you just come. We just have an extra ticket. Because somebody pulled out and they already paid and was just like, pay it forward. Use it in health. Just come to Beyonce. And I was like, I'm good. I'm like, I just saw it. I don't need to see it again. And I like Beyonce very, very much. But I just had no desire to see it twice. I might see her again. The tour ends next week. I thought it ended in New Orleans, but there's another stop after New Orleans. Like, I would consider it now that there's like space between it and she's doing like massive outfit changes. But a week apart, Usher, I saw him Monday and again on Thursday. And quite honestly, if I wasn't going back to the States on Sunday, I probably would see him again. That's how good the concert is. Some girl in my comments on, because I was posting footage from the concert, some lady asked me, did you just learn of Usher? Is it that serious that you had to go see him twice? And I was like, I wanted to and I could, so I did. He makes me happy. His concert is really freaking amazing. And even watching it up close, like, it's one thing to watch somebody from a distance. You're seeing the entertainment of it all. When you're really up on the stage, it's almost like going to Broadway. When you're close to the stage, like, you can really see the work that goes into it. All his dancers are phenomenal as he is. So it's not like you're watching somebody and you can see them counting that 8 count. It's like you just see like the physical exertion. His dancers are essentially doing like high impact aerobics for 2 hours straight. It's insane. He's doing high impact aerobics for 2 hours straight and singing. From a distance, you watch him glide around on the roller skates and it just seems so effortless. When you're up on the stage, you hear the hit of the roller skate on the ground and then Usher dancing. I was like, sir, some of the stuff I just didn't notice when I was sitting out in the audience. A lot of the show, he's performing to the main stage and the pit is behind him. So, and he like does a lot of like turning and dancing and swirling around. He's really good at like working a stage. So it wasn't like I looked at his back the whole time, but I looked at his back a lot. And I was like, my God, he's chiseled as fuck. And he does these dances where he like isolates different muscles. I've seen it before from a distance, seeing it up close and literally seeing like all the different muscles moving at once. Usher is a level of talent. And I knew this because, you know, I'm obsessed with Usher. As a performer, I don't really like want to jump on him or anything. I just kind of like gazing at him. It was an amazing concert. I'm going to be spending the next, October? November, December, 3 months. I'll be spending the next 3 months of my life trying to figure out how to get to the Super Bowl. It's worth it. It's Usher. I read that he's going, in addition to doing the Super Bowl, he's dropping a new album. He announced that the first night at the concert. And then allegedly, there are rumors that right after the Super Bowl performance, he's going to drop dates for a world tour. Which I was like, yo, black man, get your money. Because you know he's going to kill the Super Bowl stage. Like, that's a given. Millions of people around the world are going to see that performance. And then they're going to be like, I want to see Usher in person. And that's just going to sell out like immediately. It's kind of brilliant. Because it's not like he gets paid for the Super Bowl. It's the Apple Music halftime show. I think that's what it's branded as. So Apple's picking up the cost of production. So he's not coming out of pocket, but he's also not getting a check. Like the whole thing with performers during the Super Bowl is that their sales spike, their stream spike worldwide. So that's the draw for it. But Usher's like, I'm not getting the money from that stage, but I'll get one from my own. Won't I will. It's genius. If the world tour is indeed a true thing, which also means the Vegas residency is coming to a close. But if the world tour is a real thing, I'm going to go see him somewhere. Somewhere. Like the Super Bowl and somewhere else. Like, did you just hear of him? Is it that serious? It is. Evidently it is. Let folks enjoy things. Jesus. Fall is always such a hectic time of year for me. It's usually when I make a big move. I'm thankful to Caraway Cookware's non-stick kitchenware, which means with my busy schedule, cooking is still a breeze and cleanup is easier than ever. Caraway products are non-toxic and come with a chemical-free ceramic coating, which means food can be prepared with peace of mind that no hard-to-pronounce chemicals will leach into your healthy ingredients. And the best part, with so many collections of their internet-famous kitchenware to explore, there's a Caraway for every kind of cook. Each Caraway set comes in various modern shades to fit with any design aesthetic and includes easy access storage solutions to keep the kitchen tidy. I don't have a lot of space, so Caraway is perfect for me. And I'm not the only person raving about Caraway. Over 50,000 people have raved about their Caraway kitchen, and now it's time to try it for yourself. Visit carawayhome.com/respectable to take advantage of this limited time offer for 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners, so visit carawayhome.com/respectable or use code respectable at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern. Are you tired of cycling through the endless amount of trending skincare products that all claim to smooth wrinkles, firm skin, and give you a youthful glow, but don't really deliver results at the end of the bottle? Well, support for today's episode comes from OneSkin, founded by a team of 4 female PhD-level longevity scientists with over 15 years of experience studying the biology of aging. After testing thousands of peptides, they discovered OS1. The OS1 peptide is specifically proven to target age, also called senescent cells, the main source of skin aging, and actually reduces the biological age of skin by several years. Their flagship product, OS1 Face, is clinically validated to improve firmness, fine lines, and overall tone and appearance. Unlike most skincare products on the market, OneSkin works deeper than surface level and is designed to promote healthier skin from the inside out. When you have healthier skin, you have better looking skin. Is your current skin regimen clinically proven to reverse the molecular age of your skin? If not, give OneSkin a try and see the difference. For a limited time, our listeners can get 15% off OneSkin with our code RATCHET at oneskin.co. Admittedly, I was a little nervous to use OneSkin. I've had a face routine for years that I don't deviate from, but OneSkin really works. It absorbs fast and leaves your skin super soft, and I have very sensitive skin. With OneSkin, I had no irritation. OneSkin is for everyone that wants to prevent or reverse the signs of aging with a groundbreaking approach. OneSkin addresses skin health at the molecular level, targeting the root causes of aging so skin behaves, feels, and appears younger. It's time for you to experience a new skin health routine at a discounted rate today. Get 15% off with the code RATCHET at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code RATCHET. We only have one body, one skin, and only you can choose to make it better. Age healthy with OneSkin. Invest in your health and have your best fall yet with Sakara's plant-rich, ready-to-eat meals. Their flexible nutrition programs are backed by 10 years of science and designed to help you optimize your health, nutrient by nutrient and bite by bite. Enjoy seasonal dishes like the new Root to Rise barbecue flatbread or client-loved classic, the Cow Chip plus almond waffles. Help support your digestive health, enhance your metabolic efficiency, and nourish radiant skin without feeling like you're on a diet. If you're not sure which of Sakara's plant-rich nutrition programs and wellness products are right for you, there's an easy solve. In less than 5 minutes, the Easy Sakara quiz takes the guesswork out of reaching your wellness goals. Now's the time to look and feel the way you've always wanted to. Just go to sakara.com/pages/Sakara-quiz. I love Sakara. Plant-rich organic nutrition, and the food is amazing. If you're ready to try Sakara, that's Sakara, sakara.com/ratchet for 20% off your first order. Sakara.com/ratchet. Feel it for yourself. What else is going on? My mother told me this, and I was like, yo, I really need to pay attention to the world more. My mother was like, yeah, they just arrested somebody for like Tupac's murder. And I was like, what? That sounds crazy. That didn't happen. And she was like, look at it. It did. She said it and I forgot about it. And then I was like scrolling on Facebook and I saw somebody had posted a link. A man arrested for murder of Tupac Shakur. And I was like, are you kidding me? Not that I forgot he was murdered. Obviously not. That's one of those like, where were you when Kennedy got shot? I think for my mom's generation. I remember exactly where I was when I heard Tupac died and Biggie. I was freshman in college. I was coming back from, I don't know where, but I was in the lobby of my dorm and I was waiting for an elevator. And this guy, he didn't even go to our school, but he was always on campus. And he looked and dressed like Tupac. Brown skinned dude, bald head. I actually remember his name. And he would wear this bandana tied in the front. But he dressed like Tupac. Like he really thought he was like, Tupac. I don't even want to say reincarnation because at the time I met him, Tupac was alive. But we were waiting for the elevator and he got off the elevator and he was screaming like, they killed Tupac. They killed Tupac. They killed Tupac. And I was like, they killed Tupac? Tupac's not dead. Because he'd been shot like prior to that. Remember he got shot? He was in a wheelchair and he like held up the middle fingers and spit on the press. He survived that shooting and it kind of made Tupac feel, to me at least, larger than life. And then old boy is yelling like they killed Tupac. And I was like, there's no way they killed Tupac. And this is like 1996. So we don't have internet on our cell phones yet. So it's not like somebody like Google that real quick. I don't even think we had internet in our dorm rooms. If we did, it was slow as hell. But I want to say we turned on the radio and WPGC was talking about like Tupac got killed. And I was like, oh my God, Tupac's dead? That's also how I found out Biggie got killed. I came home from the club one night and fell asleep with the radio on. And I woke up the next day to an announcer who was hysterical talking about Biggie Smalls shot dead in Las Vegas. And I was like, what? What? So Tupac's killer, alleged killer, because he's not been convicted. I'm reading this on CNN. It's an update from 43 minutes ago. A grand jury has indicted Dwayne Keith Davis. He goes by Kefe D on charges of murder with use of a deadly weapon in connection with the 1996 killing of rapper Tupac Shakur. Davis, now 60. Davis was arrested Friday morning in Las Vegas. Davis has long placed himself at the scene of the crime, saying he was in the front seat of the white Cadillac that came up beside Shakur's car when shots rang out from the back seat, killing the musician. The rapper was shot 4 times and died 6 days later. I'm scrolling through this article. They're talking about the night Tupac was killed. He was in Vegas for a Mike Tyson fight at the MGM Grand. The police allege that Davis obtained the gun that was used to kill Tupac and provided it to the passengers in the back seat, because that's where the shots came from. They said Davis and the group in his car, they found the black BMW where Shakur and Suge Knight were riding and began shooting at them through the window. Police say that Dwayne Davis was the shot caller. He orchestrated the plan that was carried out to commit this crime. The police note that all other individuals associated with the crime are dead, including Davis's nephew who was in the car. He denied his involvement with the murder in an interview with CNN. He died from a gang-related shooting in 1998. Oh, this is interesting. You know how last episode we talked about people who run their mouths too much? D-Wade and Gabby. They be telling all they tea. So according to this article in CNN, which is referring to information from the Las Vegas authorities, they said the police have known about Davis being a potential suspect for decades. They didn't have enough evidence. Their interest in the case was, quote, reinvigorated in 2018 when Davis admitted to his participation in some fashion in Tupac's death. This is ridiculous. Police searched Davis's wife's home in July and they found a copy of a memoir that Davis authored detailing the murder of Tupac. And I'm still reading this on CNN. It says, in the memoir, Davis describes himself as one of only 2 living witnesses to Shakur's shooting, the other being Suge Knight, who is now in prison for manslaughter in an unrelated case. When Davis was asked who of the 4 men in the car, his car, was responsible for pulling the trigger, he said, quote, going to keep it for the code of the streets. It just came from the back seat, bro. Are you kidding me? Let me say this first and foremost. I'm glad that someone has been arrested based on his, kind of own admissions. He had some shit to do with it. He was at least in the car. It's crazy to me that he finally got arrested because he was running his mouth. I'm like, what in the O-Dog? Sir, isn't this the plot line for Menace to Society? Am I making that up? I haven't watched Menace to Society in years. But really? You wanted to be out here boasting about how you killed Tupac and the police actually heard you and now arrested you. You could have really gone to your grave with that. It's been since 1996. You about to end up in jail for the rest of your life because you wanted to brag to some hood niggas about a murder you were witness to or committed. One or the other. Provided the gun for. And you're the only person left alive? Maybe if he has a decent lawyer, he could blame it on somebody dead. It's not like they can prosecute them. I need to start printing them shirts again. Shutting the fuck up is free. Shutting the fuck up will keep you free. In other good news, the writer's strike has come to an end. I think that thing went on for 148 days. It's been painful. I ain't never wanted to actually go to work so bad. We were mid-season working on the show. I'd just been assigned my first episode. I wish I could tell you what the show is. It's a show that I watched that we've talked about on here. Right before the strike started, I had just got assigned my own episode. And I was really, really excited about it because I pitched this idea. And I was like, what if we, you know how my mind works. Like, I'd be all over the place. And then I pull it together at the end. And I was like, what if we try XYZ? My EP and the other writers were like, yeah, actually, that makes sense. Yeah, do that. And I was like, yes. But it was my first episode and I was really excited about it. And then, then the writers go on strike for 148 days. But well worth it. The writers, from what I've read, I'm reading this on Variety. It says the new writer's contract includes gains in compensation, a new requirement for minimum staff levels in TV writers' rooms, improved payment terms for screenwriters, and protections for the use of artificial intelligence in the writing process. So I follow a bunch of writers who I've seen discussing the deal. They seem to be very happy with it. The WGA ended the strike, I want to say Thursday at midnight, but the WGA members actually have to vote to accept this new contract. They're going to vote from October 2nd to October 9th. But by all accounts, everyone expects it to be ratified. All my writer friends, everybody is ready to go back to work. No one thought the strike would last this long. I remember the conversations in the writer's room. It's well, what do you think? How long do you think it'll be? And they were like, it could be 30, but it won't be any more than 90. 90 is the max. And then here we are at 148. Folks really been struggling. So folks are ready, willing, and eager to get back to work. As much for the check as if you're in the right writer's room, some of them can be hell. I've heard horror stories. But if you're in the right writer's room where you actually enjoy the people that you're working with and people throw out good ideas and everyone's carrying their fair share of good ideas, good writing, good energy, it's actually really fun. I actually enjoyed being in the writer's room despite the hours being nuts. Because I was in South Africa working on West Coast America time. The writer's room for me, I want to say went from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. because we had an hour break. So the first part of the writer's room, my electricity would be on in my apartment. This sounds crazy. Living it was one thing, but reflecting on it, I'm though, this is insane. But the first part of the writer's room, my electricity would be on. And in the second part of the writer's room, I'd be sitting there in the dark with a lamp plugged into a generator. That was my life for 3 months in South Africa. Wouldn't trade it for anything. It was definitely an experience in not taking anything for granted. Reliable electricity. The little things. What else is on our list? Oh, the ratchet shit. So Shannon Sharp, Club Shay Shay, we talk about his interviews, his podcast on here a lot. His most recent interview is with Brittany Renner. And I was like, who? I saw him post a picture of him announcing who the guest was for his next show. And the comments overwhelmingly, I would say 90% of the people in the comments were like, this is a new low. Unc, I know you're trying to get your ratings up, but you ain't got to go here with it. She doesn't deserve a platform. And I was like, well, who is she? I vaguely remember this woman's name from when Deion Sanders had her come to Jackson State to talk to his team about the pitfalls of women and dating now that they are college level athletes who are on track to go to the NFL. So he just wanted them to know what the possibilities are Basically how bad some women, gold diggers, essentially, can be. Story's a little deeper than that. Brittany Renner has dated a lot of famous people, and she's kind of like Superhead. Remember Corinne Steffens from like back in the 2000s? Well, she talks a lot about her sex life and the famous people that she's had sex with. She also has a kid with a basketball player. I think I read he's worth over 100 million. But when they began dating, I want to say he was 18 and she was 26. And people were like, what is this 26-year-old woman possibly wanting with this 18-year-old other than essentially seeing him as a mark who she was eventually going to have a baby by and, you know, get this massive amount of child support, blah, blah, blah. And he's too young, too naive, too stupid, however you want to call it, to peep the game that she's running on him. That was at least the narrative. Brittany's narrative was like, no, he wanted to be in a relationship with me. He wanted me to move into his house and he wanted to have a child with me. I didn't track this dude. This is the woman that Shannon Sharpe invited on his show. Just based on the details that I've shared, knowing how men and women, it's not just a man thing, react to women who are sexual, who have the nerve to, you know, date multiple people publicly or date people who have money. The 26-18 thing does strike me as not so good. It's also something men do every day and people are like, well, what's the problem? Like, that's when women are desirable. I'm like, I don't like it when men do that big of an age gap. It's not so much the older you get, but 26 and 18 is like an entirely different world. I remember being 21 dating a guy who was 20 and it was a big thing because like I could go to bars and clubs and he couldn't go. He's just able to vote. He's never even lived on his own as an adult. And like you're dating him as a 26-year-old. Not that 26-year-olds are the height of maturity, but in comparison to an 18-year-old, there's like a huge, huge gap, knowledge gap, life experience gap. I get why people are upset about that. But Brittany went on Club Shay Shay and they had a great interview. She was very forthcoming, as she's known to be. She admitted during the interview that she'd had sex with 35 people, and she did it unasked. Shannon Sharpe had a mild conniption. He took a shot, and then I think he drank from the bottle, and then he took another shot. Like, he seemed flustered. It was a very hyper-animated response to her confession, revelation, because I think confession has a negative connotation to it, but to her revelation, her sharing of the number of people that she'd had sex with. Mind you, she is 31 years old. For obvious reasons, that's the clip that Shannon Sharpe and his marketing team decided to share with the public. The video has gone viral, and everyone is talking about Brittany Renner and her 35 sex partners. Overwhelmingly, people are like, no, that number's too low. They're calling her out of her name. You know what people call women who have sex. It's not even about the number. Like, you could say 1, you could say 2. You could not even have sex and people will still call you derogatory names that are related to quote and unquote promiscuous women. But yeah, Brittany said 35, and then Shannon Sharpe proceeded to clown, essentially. And I like Shannon Sharpe. This is the first time I've seen him do something where I'm like, what are you doing? Even when he was trying to fight somebody on the side of the court, and I was like, well, he's mad. He seems like a reasonable man. Like, let's hear him out. This one, I was just like, what are you doing? You're being like a very grown, very mature 50-something-year-old fuckboy. Like, what are you doing? Even if Shannon Sharpe, you know, is a very conservative man, at the age of 50, he can count his sexual partners on one hand. Sir, you played in the NFL. You've heard men boast constantly about how much sex they have with women, how many women they've had sex with at the same damn time sometimes. You've heard all sorts of crass locker room talk, literally in the locker room, of the number of partners that men have had. Surely you've heard higher numbers before. But the way he reacted, I just felt like, I'm like, you're a grown-ass man. Like, are you really this immature? Yes. Funny enough, remember I told you the other day that, like, old boy from Mozambique was still stalking me? I found, like, this Facebook email address that, like, I didn't even know existed. I was searching for something else, and I stumbled across all these unread messages. But there were messages going back to, like, 2013, 2014, back to when I had the Ask Demetria column at The Root. So apparently someone had written in about a guy asking them how many sexual partners that they had. And she didn't want to answer the question because she felt like it was a setup. And I told her, and I was like, because it is. Like, the type of guy who wants to harp on how many people you've had sex with, one, really doesn't like you. Two, is very immature. Like, do you currently have STDs? Can we get tested? Reasonable inquiry about sex. How many people you've actually had sex with? What difference does it make? If I'm in a monogamous relationship with you and I'm not cheating, why do you really care who I've had sex with? Like, what are you really trying to get to with this question? It's always about using it to judge a woman's worth. And anytime a guy asks you that, he's about to figure out a way to shame you for it. In my response, I told the woman, get to the bottom of what he's trying to figure out. Like, are you trying to figure out if I have an STD? Well, why don't we go get tested together? Are you trying to figure out if I've dated one of your friends or someone that you may know in your circle? Then let's have a conversation about that and why you feel uncomfortable. But just a number, what does the number really mean? Solely used as a way to judge women. And again, there's no right answer. So she asked me what she should do. I was like, either don't answer the question, get to the bottom of what they're really trying to figure out, or, and I said this in the piece, I was like, I don't usually make this suggestion at all. It's actually one of the very few times I would make this suggestion, but I told her, and I was like, really just lie. So this guy, and again, I'm finding this email maybe like 2 months ago, but this guy was really pissed off. He wrote like, I don't know, almost 1,000 words, how wrong I was for telling a woman to lie to her partner. Other relationship experts, even people that you respect, that you work with, have said that, that wasn't the right answer to give. And he was like, men have very valid reasons for asking, if we're talking about building a life with somebody, we want to know that she's not a whore. We want to know that she's, pure and respectable. And I was like, you're proving my point, sir, that you attach a woman's worth or her purity, whether she's deserving of being a wife, based on her sexual encounters. I can see expecting a woman to be faithful and you find out that she's not. Like, I see how that could be problematic. But I was like, just that she had sex with other people before you, as long as there's no overlap, exactly what is the problem? But he laid it out. Like, it's a matter of purity. It's a matter of ego, really. He doesn't want other men to be able to say that they've experienced sex with his partner. And he also, and I think really this is at the heart of it, if a woman has sexual experience, she's probably going to compare what happens with you with others. And it doesn't mean compare in a bad way where she's going to be like, well, XYZ, did me better than you do. But just like she has like a frame of reference, like she's not ignorant. She's not naive. She kind of knows like, okay, these are the things that I like. These are the things that I expect. These are the things that I don't like. I'm not going to do. I'm willing to do. We see this play out in various other ways in the culture. Like, we're at the point now where men are shaming women for getting college degrees. Like, you don't want them too educated because they might be smarter than you. You don't want them too experienced in sex because they might have demands of you. They might have expectations like, of wild revolutionary shit, like actually having an orgasm or receiving mutual pleasure and not just having sex with you for yours. There's all sorts of stuff mixed up in why men ask women for their body count, which is why I was like, don't answer or get to the bottom of it or just lie. And I stand 10 toes down on that advice, but I probably wouldn't give it now. If a man asks me how many people I had sex with, you're done. And it's not even because like I'm ashamed of my number. I realized a couple of things. It's like the kind of man that asks you like, what do you bring to the table? You don't really like me. You don't see value in me and you want me to sit here and explain to you why you should value me. And there's really nothing I can say to you to convince you to value me if you devalue me already so much that you're asking me stupid shit like, well, what do you bring to the table? You don't see it. Okay. You need to go find somebody else that you see it in instead of trying to get me to tap dance for you to convince you of my worth. The other part of this is a standard that men are never held to. What was the basketball player who was like, I've had sex with more than 1,000 women, and everybody was like, oh, ha, ha, ha. He had sex with more than 1,000 women. That's so funny. That's so cute. Boys will be boys, men. You put your dick in more than 1,000 people? Like, why don't you have any discernment with how you use your dick? The same men who are shaming Brittany are the same men who will get on their page and talk about, like, quote unquote, how many bitches I fucked. And those same men will turn around and be like, Brittany Renner had sex with 35 people. They've had sex with more people than her, but will shame her for the number of people that she has sex with. Also, we talk about this a lot on here because it keeps coming up in the culture. Men want to have sex. Men like having sex. Men hate women that also like to have sex. It makes no sense. You like to fuck. She likes to fuck. Why can't y'all just fuck? It's almost like a pick an argument kind of question. That's why I'm like, you know what? Don't even lie. At this point, like, don't lie. Don't try to figure out why. Don't dodge the question. Just be like, you know what? I don't think this is going to work for me. Like, I don't think we're just aligned in like how we see the world. I don't feel like you value me to ask me something like that. Like, what difference does it make? Like, it's a very immature question. And I'm really seeking partnership in somebody that has more maturity than what you're displaying right now. What are you going to do with that question? You can answer it, but we've already discussed like where that's going to go. Like, just, ugh. But yeah, people are having full on fits over a woman that they're not fucking, have no chance of fucking, having full out fits over who she's decided to allow into her space, literally. Meanwhile, men will like put their dick in anything. I also find it really weird, and this is not an original thought, it's been said many times before. It's really interesting to me how women are devalued by their encounters with men. Like, the more men that you have encounters with, and it could be sex, it could be dating, it could be pictures you post on Instagram, it could be stories that you share about your life. But the more encounters of any kind that women have with men, the less valuable the woman seems to be perceived in our society. If having encounters with men make a woman less desirable and less valuable and less worthy, what do the men who say these things actually think about themselves? Go ponder that. All right, that's the episode. We'll be back, I think, on Tuesday. I should be recovered by Tuesday. Talk soon. Bye.